being fearful that someone may take your life. For nothing more than Reeboks on your feet. We all must improve our conflict resolution skills. In the heat of confrontation, it's just a war of wills. Why is it so hard to see love can conquer hate? There's a sense of urgency, so don't procrastinate. Stop the violence. Let's care enough to try. Stop the violence. It's a case of do or die. Stop the violence. It's up to me and you. Stop the violence. It ain't hard to do.
This ain't the place where I want to be. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, most of the day you in your cell, you sitting there looking at your two cells.
No, life though, that sounds pretty crazy. You might as well kill me.
All right, selling drugs. I gotta do this. I'm on the run. I can't get no job. Your heart is racing. You scared. You scared for real when you first come in here. You scared. I mean, your heart is pumping. You doing big time. It's not like it's not much. It's years. It's not no little 3, 4 months. It's 5, 10 years. That's what it is. I'm 17. Hold up.
You don't want to be here. Keep your head up and don't come to jail. And you try to stay away from doing what you do.
You get smacked right in the face. Same little Bodie was tough in the streets crying up there. That's all it is.
We must stand up and fight. Let's give them a chance to make it by teaching them truly right. We all gotta stand up and fight.
It wasn't till May, my son was killed in December 2001. It wasn't until May of 2003 that another young man who lives not far from here was shot to death, 19-year-old Kayid Staten. Right after his death, I was laying in my bed and I was just having such a hard time about my son's death. I was crying and just missing him so much. I kind of must have dozed off to sleep, or maybe it was a vision. I'm not quite sure what it was at that point, but I saw these mothers, all these women standing in a boxing ring on Cecil B. Moore Avenue, which is where Kayid Staten had been shot. And so, but in my dream, these mothers were standing in a boxing ring with bullhorns, begging sons to put down their guns. The next day, I said, I've got to do something. The mothers have got to do something. And that's how Mothers in Charge was started. I went to talk with a friend of mine, Sultan Ahmed, who had lost a son about 15 years prior to my son's death. And I knew he had been very active after his son's death and doing things in the community. And I went to meet with him in his office and talk to him about my vision, my dream, and what I wanted to do. And he said he would help me, and he did. And he actually named Mothers in Charge. Today in Philadelphia, we're losing so many young people. I think this has been a time when we've lost more young people than in many years prior to. And I'm sure there are a lot of questions out there about why a group of mothers who've lost their children to violence would even be working with the population in the House of Correction, many of whom are charged with murder. First, second, third degree, armed robbery, attempted murder. So why would mothers be going into a prison to work with these young men? The violence is such that we're losing two. One to crime, and one to the cemetery. It's our thought that if we can reach out to these young men who've made a bad choice, who've connected with the wrong group of people, who've made bad decisions and picked up a gun, that if we can connect with them while they're there, maybe we can then prevent members joining mothers in charge because they've lost their children. Maybe we can instill in them something else to do with their life when they return back to our communities. We're thinking if we reach them while they're there, and when they get the opportunity to come home, if we can connect them with resources and supports for them and for their families, that maybe we can make a difference with the violence in our community.
Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Stop the violence.
I remember sitting in Einstein Hospital, laying down, like butt naked, stripped of no clothes, because that's what they do. Once you're shot, they cut all your clothes off. And I just remember being real bloody. When she came, I was just terrified. It's scary. It's 1 minute I was hot, 1 minute I was cold, but then 1 minute I would look at my mom and I'd be like, I love you. I don't know if I'm gonna die or not, but it's a scary thing, you know? She has nightmares every night, and I do too, and it's hard. This is the first time I think I talked about being shot. Every time I talk to my mom, I hear a new story or a new dream. I could have been dead. Even my cellie, he thinks it's cool. Like, I hear him too talking about it every day. Like, I can't wait to be shot. I can't wait. That's crazy. What are you talking about? You don't want to be shot. But in some ways, I will look at it like, and I say to myself, yeah, I wish I would have, you know, just passed away right then and there. But then that's just me talking dumb. Like, I don't wish, like, that would have really hurt my mom, but like, this is not a place you want to be. This is a place that makes you think a lot.
My first place that I started making money was hustling drugs. At the same time I was hustling drugs, I was using it. Hustling and using it, hustling and using it. Hey man, I used to just jump in people's houses while they sleeping, just to rob them and take VCRs and TVs and whatever I can find around me. When I got locked up, they gave me 2 years in juvenile prison. My life is done, so I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm gonna do. I've been using a lot of drugs, and trust me, you don't wanna have none of these scars at all. You don't wanna have this in your arm. If you like to follow rules and hey, there you go, that's the hole over there. Oh no, you don't wanna be in a hole. I'm talking about you can eat all the food you want to, gain all the weight, but once you're in the hole, you're not gonna gain weight at all because they will make you starve.
While I was incarcerated upstate, I had a cellie, and he's actually serving life for a decision that he made when he was 16 years old. He decided to participate in a robbery. The robbery, he was the lookout. He wasn't the trigger man. Same thing happened to my cousin. He was the lookout in the robbery. Okay? He didn't have the gun in his hand, but conspiracy holds just as much as the actual murder itself and robbery itself. So before you make that decision to go and hang with this guy that you think is really your friend, when he starts talking the negative stuff, robbing people, you know, let's go get these guys because these guys beat me up or beat my family up or whatever, think about the consequences and think about them hard and think, do you want to spend the rest of your life behind bars for one decision? Because you don't know what that man will do with that gun in his hand, but you're with him. So you're just as responsible for the actions of that man. And it sounds crazy, but you are. and it may cost you the rest of your life.
Getting lost in crime, I abandoned all of my hopes to be a politician. You know, I negated even the idea that I could be who I was already planning to be before I got caught with that one gun and went on a run. And being in jail it brings it back to you. You have so much time to reflect, to say, oh my God, I was there. You know, I could have made the right decision. I could have chose at that moment to say, no, I don't want to go. Today, I know that there's authority here in this land, and you must abide by it. You must obey it, because without it, you are going outside of the boundaries that keep you safe. Keeps you from this jail. It keeps you from going to the penitentiary where the people are going to chain you to your bed and try to have sex with you. To keep you from being robbed and beaten. To keep you from getting stuffed underneath your bunk because they don't want you to even see you. It's going to keep you from losing your family, losing your money, losing your time. It's going to keep you from losing the hope that you had, the dreams that you had as a kid to be a doctor, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, or somebody great. To keep you from that place of loneliness and misery, of sadness. It's going to keep you from there. And you got to know that. As a young person today, you got to know that these laws that are set up, this authority that you see in the form of the police in your neighborhood, your mother in your household, the teacher in your school, this authority is set up to protect you. It's to keep you from going to a place where you can't help yourself and nobody can help you. A place where you are going to be destroyed. Everything about you, the specialty you think that you are, that good thing that you know that you have, it's going to be wasted in that place. People are going to pour you out in that place and they're not going to put nothing back in you. Today is the day you got to decide. Do I want to live the rest of my life the way that I thought I could when I was younger? Or do I want to go to a place of absolute despair, a place of torment, a place of worthlessness and discouragement, a place where you might not even be able to make it back?
I fear every single day that I might be the mother that will get a call that my son was shot, you know, or my son was dead. I fear it every single day.
I haven't lost anyone, but I joined Mothers, this is my second meeting, I joined Mothers in Charge to help me, show me how to save my son from being lost.
And it's hard to hear you talk about people dying alone because we couldn't get to him in time to even say goodbye. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things is that, you know, our children are loved oftentimes. And you're not there to let them know that you're there for them. And he died in the operating room before my husband and I were able to get to him. And I think that's probably the thing that goes over my head over and over again is that we weren't there to say goodbye.
You'll hear from mothers today who have lost loved ones and the impact of that violence. We're hoping that by doing this realization, you will get an idea of what it's like. And hopefully that will inspire you to want to get involved to make a difference. 404 murders in the city of Philadelphia this year. We've got to come together and stop this violence. Mothers and Mothers in Charge are coming in now with the coffin of so many of the mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers who've lost loved ones.
Put down the guns! All of my tears! Put down the babies to be slaughtered! Thirsty babies to be slaughtered! My baby!
I just want to say thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
summer of July 2001, July 15th, 2001, my son, Justin Donnelly, was stabbed on his friend's porch by a very angry man that was looking for one of his pit bulls. He thought that the man was just turning around and walking away, and he turned around and stabbed him right in the chest. In December, same year, a couple blocks away from where my son was killed, Dorothy Johnson Spike's son was also killed. He was shot over a parking spot. We finally went on the Crime Stoppers in January because we were looking for a good witness to come forward. And Dorothy saw our story on TV, and she came and sought us out. We were talking, she came to our house, and we were talking about different things, and putting two and two together because the guy next door to her son's house also had pit bulls and raised pit bulls. It was in the same neighborhood. It was only a couple blocks from each other. And lo and behold, it was the same person that killed both of our sons. So ever since then, I've been involved with Dorothy. She was also thinking about putting this group of women together or doing a whole anti-violence program, and I said, count me in.
I thought that my heart was gonna stop one day. And even though I knew I had 2 other children to take care of, and that I had a husband and my parents and a sister, I thought my heart was really gonna stop. And I called and I reached out to them, just like, somebody's gotta help me with this because I can't do it alone. And I do believe that being part of this group has saved my life and has helped me cope.
My husband was only sick for like a couple weeks. He seemed to have been getting better, seemed to have been doing fine. And it was the weirdest thing. My daughter had this little red car. And every Friday, when she came, she parked right in front of our house. So he had went out that Friday and came back, and was this little red car that looked so much like my daughter's car parked there. And for just a second, when he came in the house, he expected Lisa to be there. So he came in the house, you know, same as Suicide Hollering, Esther, where Lisa? And I come downstairs and I'm standing up on the stairs and I'm looking at him. What? And then, you know, his heart just dropped out of him. You could see he just realized all of the fact that, okay, that's not her car, she's dead. What am I talking about? And then he came up and he had another cry. You know, we talked and he cried, and after that he just got sick. So my husband died September 05 of a broken heart. You can't tell me anything else. It was a broken heart that took him out of here. He could not get over the fact that somebody killed his daughter and his grandson.
I thank God for Dorothy and the members of Mothers in Charge, because they have been the force that have keeping me going. I mean, without her and the other members of Mothers in Charge, I do believe that I would probably be a basket case by now. Because until you've lost someone to violence, you don't know that feeling. People come to you and say, oh, I know how you feel, but they don't know how you feel because they haven't been there. They may have lost someone because someone was ill, but to have someone murdered and taken from you, it's just a different feeling, especially when it's your child.
We must stand up and fight. Let's give them a chance to make it by teaching them truly right. We all gotta stand up and fight before we lose more lives. We're losing 2 kids at a time.
There are a number of different things that I think that contribute to the violence that we see today. It's the